Hello everyone, it is Toby from Toby's Urban Sketch, and today we're going to do a really quick, well, a 10-minute challenge I suppose, so they're always really quick, of this sort of shadow-filled scene up here with lots of people, and then a big punch of light going through it. So how can we capture that all in just 10 minutes? Well, I'm going to start by not worrying too much about all the details and just capturing the concept, the ideas. So let's start in the middle here. We've got this street which is sort of faded off, so right in the middle here. Very difficult to see all these details in the street. So we're just going to start with a sort of continuous line idea where we just capture the vertical lines and a bit of the complexity. And then we've got some really marked perspective coming out of this. Suddenly these buildings grow really tall, really quickly. And so we just start grabbing those lines before we hit this lovely round structure, which is actually the top of the patisserie Valerie, which I thought had gone bust, you know. It's for people who don't know, a sort of, well, a patisserie chain, a sort of Belgian patisserie chain, which I'm fairly sure went bust a couple of years ago, but evidently I'm wrong. So we're just trying to capture these really big shapes. You can see, just even with this continuous line drawing that I'm doing, we very quickly captured what is going on here. And we've done that by just simplifying all those details. We've also got all these people, and I am going to add in lots of people, but I don't need to worry too much about, am I adding them at the beginning, the end, am I going to be drawing over lines? This is just a really loose and fun way of sketching. We've got 10 minutes, so it's about having fun and experimenting. And letting loose a bit, if you like. So there's just popping in some details, some of these details, just working around. I'm just at the moment sticking with the continuous line drawing because it's working well. It's providing some lovely shapes, and it's a great way of exploring an image, moving around, finding new bits. So look, I've just found that there's this fun dome, and on top of it a fun sort of weather vane. And then we've got all these chimneys poking up behind. And then little windows out here as well, haven't we? And then more chimneys kind of just nudging their heads up. Just sort of fascinating little shapes. And then all along here as well, we've got tops of roofs, little triangles. We don't need to be clear about exactly what they are. Do you see how those, all I've done is just scribble some triangles, but it very much captures the same effect as in the reference photo. It's all about just loosening up and accepting seeing shapes rather than having to draw the exactly correct thing. And then going to exaggerate some of this perspective going away as well. And again, going back into this distance, we're just capturing busyness. We're not really drawing anything, we're just capturing the busyness of the street. We're doing the same as we come out here. There's some ups and downs to these buildings as well, so we can sort of capture that there's an up and down nature. When we get to about level with here, we have another fantastic structure with another weather vane, so that's great, isn't it? So we've got a weather vane on either side of the street, which is a great little bit of continuity for our scene. And then we get these really domineering buildings coming all the way down, and they come, so we just need to be careful how low on the page they come, and they come to the bottom of there and another few centimetres. So there we are, successfully navigated some of that awkward perspective, and then we can bring this perspective line up at the bottom. We can start adding in some of these windows as well. Do you see how incredibly loose this all is, but it's still capturing that essence of what's going on. Doors, windows, got some other complicated things going on here which we can build out with a few lines. Another one here, another window, kind of finishes up there. We just had one more row of windows to kind of fill our page. And we can take a pen away and just take stock of where we got to. We've actually got quite an effective image already. This sort of flow, the fact it's a continuous line drawing, gives you that idea of something disappearing off into the corner. We can start to see where do we want to build it up. Well, for me it's not obvious this is the bottom of a row of houses, so let's just make that more clear by adding these little vertical lines in. And then we can add in a pavement, which makes that even more obvious. We can then bring that pavement forward here. And so we've got a lot more of a concept of the street now. What else is missing? Well, there's this sort of blank wall, so let's let's fill it with some of these ideas of windows. Okay, so we're getting there. We've got some fun details. We've got a big street lamp. So I'm going to extend that so that it's clear in the sky, so that we can make it definitely a street lamp. Doesn't matter that it gets lost in all this busyness, but we got a top and a bottom to it now. And we got lots of fun bunting coming across as well. So if we just draw some of these lines, sort of randomly zigzagging with these little triangles. Again, it's all very busy, but it's fine. That is what this scene is. The scene is incredibly busy in the middle. So by building up these textures, we're building up something realistic. And now I think it's time to get adding in our people. So why don't we start off on this side? So we've got just simple shapes. We can do just stick people. We can also add a little bit more detail. We can join people up, no problem. And we can draw over objects as well, as you see. No problems drawing over objects. And just picking out a few key details about people. So he's got a rucksack on, so I just capture these straps. And he's sort of striding forward, so we can have a big striding leg there. There's a man just behind him. We'll just pop in a framework of that. There we come here. We've got a woman with a sort of hair in a bun. Very easy to capture. That's just two circles, and then the face is a kind of semicircle on top. And she's really going to fall off the edge of the page. Falls off the edge of the reference, so that's about right. And of course she's got a dog, so why don't we just bring the dog so he's just on our page. And again, dogs just shapes. You've got this sort of circle ear, circle head, circle mouth, more of an oval for a body, and then another sort of oval wagging over. Do you see how that's just become a dog very easily? And the convenience of that means we can sort of join up into what I assume is this woman's daughter. And she can be highlighted by what is a sort of long ponytail. And she's also got a sort of McDonald's style cup in her hand, and that again is an easy way to just pull out a detail. So we've got these sort of interesting details just pulling out in a few different people. We can come over here as well. We can start adding in some of these people, and this is where it's going to be again really busy on the page, but it's fine. We're capturing a really busy scene, so all these lines are going to cross over each other. There's going to be loads of people going back here as well, so we can now just start doing circles and triangles, circle and triangle. So circle, if I do a person out here somewhere clearer, I'm doing a little circle, a little triangle, and then a sort of feet. And if you're building up a crowd, especially in a really busy scene like this, then that's all you need. So there we go, we sort of smashed down, hammered down a complicated line drawing. It's taken a fair while, so that's 8 minutes of my 10-minute challenge, but that's no problem, because for something like this, we want to just provide a little glaze of colour. We don't want to, you know, get too lost and stuck in the exact things going on, because it's so busy we can't really see it. So it's going to take out key features. So the key features we talked about at the beginning were these shadows. It's a sort of shadow filled scene. So there's lots of areas where we just want some murky colour. And I'm just playing with different arrays of brown and blue. There's also splashes of light, and so I'm trying to just leave some white on the page, which is going to be that lovely light. And we can invigorate some of our shadows just by touching in other colours and just changing the variations of blue, of brown, of exactly what we're using. And then we can start going, well, where's some interesting colours? We've got some reds, got red here. You see how everything's just merging? And that's what I'm after. Then we've got our lovely light. So we got pop in some yellow, pop in some ochre, leave a bit of white space. Got some fun pink up there, so we'll just mix a sort of orangey yellow. And then these blues can come into the windows. We're just building up this well, it's not even semi-abstract, it's pretty abstract now, isn't it? But this loose glaze of colour, which is suggesting very much the busyness of the scene. What we'll do with these people, we'll add colour to as well. We can add a bit more tone in the base of these windows, so the bottom of shops are normally very deep toned, and you can see that in this reference as well. And you see how these colours just are pooling, gradually pooling, becoming really interesting. I'm going to pick out a little bit more of my red, pop it in a few of these places, and there you go. So I think, I wonder if I was just over, but that is a 10-minute challenge filled with life and colour. Let's let it dry and then have a look at what it looks like and see if we want to add in some final touches. So here we go, pretty much finished. You can see it's almost totally dry, and we've got these fascinating just spreads of colour. That's because we worked so loose and so quickly, and it just provides so much character, like a glaze, to an interesting and fairly detailed in the end sketch, or at least pretending to be detailed, which is the same thing or not. Now, I think we can do one thing to enhance this, and we do need it to be dry. And it's a risky one, so what I'd love to know in the comments is whether you think this, what I'm about to do, adds or detract from this image. What I'm going to do is take a couple of punchy colours. I'm going to do a red probably, and maybe a blue or a yellow, we'll see how we feel. And we're going to just apply those to faces, or a couple of other details perhaps, but I'm going to start just by ramping up some sort of face detail. Not detail, but just highlighting the busyness. And I suppose the other thing we could do is use these punches of colour on our bunting, which we sort of added in with our pen. So there's my red dots, maybe just a couple in the background as well. And then let's do some blue. The blue can be for the bunting. So providing that, it's quite a happy colour, isn't it, this? It's cobalt turquoise, very sort of, makes you feel good looking at it. And then let's do that yellow, but the yellow can be more for our people again. So we can perhaps highlight the tops of heads and the sides, and a couple of ideas of faces, and a few just sort of splashes in the ether as well. Let's even give our friendly dog's ear and tail a bit of splash. And then that yellow can of course come into our bunting as well. So we've got these three bold colours in the bunting. So there you go, we've now just enhanced it with these real punches of colour. Almost becomes 3D with the colour, with this being so much more aggressive, so much more highly saturated. So yeah, did this work? Did this add? Did it take away? I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments, and of course, if you enjoy my videos, please do like and subscribe. That's always appreciated, and it's a huge support.